Thank you, Vanita. Hi, everyone. My name is Melinda, and I am the lead coordinator for the Office of Residence Life here at Cal Maritime. I've been here for 6 years working for the department, so I have a lot of information to share with you, hopefully answer a lot of your questions. Other than that, we are excited to see all of you come on the 13th and to have your cadet here this fall. Welcome.
And Connor.
Hi, my name is Connor, as Vanita already mentioned, and I am no longer an RHO. I recently was just promoted to the student housing director. So I work with Melinda and the rest of the RHOs, and am also very excited for all of you to join our campus.
I'm so sorry, Connor, for misstating that. Please forgive me. He is our triad student leader, so my apologies again. So I will start with questions that are starting to come up. Jennifer, your question is more related towards billing, and I've written it down, and I will get back with you on that, if that's okay. Then we have a few people saying hello, and then good afternoon from Lori. What is the address that we can use to send packages to our cadets? That's the first question for our experts here.
I'll go ahead and put that information in the chat. For the mail room, yes, for the students that are living on campus, we do have a mail center. And so students will be able to have packages and mail sent to them. During the first official week of school, the incoming cadets will receive an email from our office with their mailbox information and where to pick up their mail key. We're not handing out any mail keys during the August 13th move-in day. It will happen during the first week of classes. Generally, we ask that students, once they get their mailbox information, it will have their name, their specific mailbox, that they have a lot of their packages with the correct name, and to make sure that they have the correct mailbox number on it, just to make sure that when packages come in, especially at the start of fall, it's the busiest time of the year. We just want to make sure that we're able to find the packages and give them to all of your cadets accordingly. So I'll go ahead and put the address in the box. But you won't get the specific box for your cadet until the first week of classes.
So quickly, please check with your student what that number is. We're not going to be providing that information directly to parents. You have to work with your student to get that. The next question I have is from Jay McGover, and that is, can you describe the housing on the ship?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and let Connor take that one, since he has lived on the ship before.
Yeah, so housing on the ship is, for the fall semester, is going to be the single occupancy, just like the rest of the residence halls. And it's a little bit different than the rest of our residence hall rooms. And by that, I mean it's quite smaller because it is on a ship and we only have 500 feet of space to work with. But they're inside of the rooms, and I don't believe we have any videos online or any photos online of what it looks like inside. But there's 3 bunks, of which the student can sleep on any one of them, as well as a sink and a shared head or bathroom for each of those rooms, as well as a desk and then a couple of lockers, as well as some drawers. So there's a lot of places to store things inside of each of the rooms on the ship. However, it is very compact. I'm not sure if anybody watched the virtual tour video where we showed a segment of what the residence hall rooms look like in upper, but our recommendation is to think about a half or 3/4 of the size of those rooms that you saw on that virtual tour.
Thank you, Connor. The next question is, how will dining work this fall, from Bilu? Melinda?
So in terms of dining, it's going to be grab and go options. So the students will be able to go into the dining center, grab whichever items, food, meals that they would like for the given time, whether if it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And then they'll have to take it outside, take it back to the room, but it's a to-go option. We are in the works of opening our bistro, which is like a small cafe on campus. And then we also have a grab and go sandwich shop that will also be open, but those will be grab and go options as well, or to-go options. Usually in those spaces are tables and chairs where students can hang out, but unfortunately, given the circumstance, we're gonna do to-go options as best as we can.
Thank you, Melinda. The next question is from Shelley. My son will be in upper res. Will the laundry be coin operated or by using a student card?
So right now they are coin operated and credit card or debit card. They are not allowed to use their port pass at the moment. We are in the process of upgrading to a system where you can add dollars to your student port pass and then use that for the laundry facilities. But right now it is credit or debit, or you can use coins.
Thank you. Next question is from Nancy. Can you please repeat the bathroom arrangements, Connor?
Yeah, of course. So on the ship, there's typically 2 rooms that share one bathroom. And by bathroom, I mean toilet and shower. Each of the rooms has their own sink. So those are what the bathroom arrangements look like on the ship. So what you're looking at is your student as well as another student will both be sharing one bathroom on board the ship. And then it just keeps on going throughout the rest of the residence hall.
Jennifer wants to know if the students get more than one entry for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Do we need clarification on that?
I don't think so. I think I understand the question. Okay. So generally with their meal plans, you are allotted a certain number of meals per week. So they range from 10 to 19. So you can swipe in twice for breakfast if you want to, but that means that you'll have 17 meals left for the rest of the week. So if you wanted to use 10 swipes in one day, you can. You'll just have less meals available to you for the rest of the week. So that's how that works.
Thank you. Next question from Jay McGover is housing on the ship co-ed? Connor?
I'll take this one. So because of the bathroom situation, the 2 rooms that share that bathroom have to be of the same gender. We don't mix the genders that way, but there could be other rooms on that particular floor or next to the other room, but those that share that bathroom, they have to be of the same gender.
Thank you. Question from John Smith. How do students purchase a printer card?
I can take this one, Melinda. The printer card for all of our WEPA now printers that are located sporadically throughout campus is through your port pass. So using the WEPA program, or it's either WEPA or WEPA, I'm not entirely sure. But on their website, you can load dollars as a part of your kind of student account through WEPA. And then when you insert your port pass, the printer stations around campus recognize who you are and that you're a student account Maritime, and then it goes into your WEPA account, and then it transitions over to your WEPA account, and then that's when you're able to go ahead and print things.
Thank you. Bilu is asking, since they are not allowed to have microwaves or fridges in their room on the ship, will they have access to microwave and fridge somewhere on the ship?
Yeah, so they're on the ship in our lower mess, which is at the bottommost, or is on the middlemost part of our ship, on our main deck. There is a couple of microwaves, I believe even a toaster, and then 1 to 2 fridges. I haven't been down there recently, so I'm not entirely sure. There's been some changes on the ship, but when I was last down there, there were public fridges, microwaves, and toasters available for the students to use.
Okay, great. Thank you, Connor. Next question is from Jennifer. How much does laundry cost per load so she can send enough quarters? And also, is laundry on the ship coin operated? Melanie wants to know.
So if you are on the TSGP, fortunately, the laundry is free. So you don't have to worry about that. That's a perk. If you are in upper residence halls, it depends on the load size. So the lowest one or the cheapest one is $1.25, but that's for the smallest load. And it goes all the way up to $1.75 per wash. And then for drying, I believe it's from 75 cents to $1.50, and that depends on the load size as well.
Thank you, Melinda. Next question from Jennifer. So they need to load up on their one pass through. If it wasn't grab and go, he could go back for seconds. What is the size of the shower on the ship? So two questions. One is dining hall related. The other one is bathroom related on the ship.
I'll answer the dining question, and then Connor can talk more about the showers. So for the meals, again, if you wanted to swipe twice, you'll just have to go back in and just swipe for another meal, unless you're able to load up on that first round. But for some reason, if that's not enough food, then they can just go through the line again and just swipe again and get the food.
Okay. Connor, size of the shower on ship.
Yeah, so I don't remember the exact numbers for the dimensions of each of those showers, but it's about I'd say 3.5, 4 foot, maybe even a little bit larger kind of square for the student to go in and kind of move around in. And they're about, I'd say, oh goodness, like 7 to 8 feet tall. So there's plenty of room in the showers on the ship.
John wants to know if you have the website for the WEPA printer to load money. If you do, just put it in the chat.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Connor. Next question is from Nancy. Can you please describe the security of the housing, both on the ship and the residence halls?
Yeah, for the residence halls, all of the main entrances are card swipe. So only those that have a Cal Maritime Port Pass and is assigned to upper residence hall can only swipe into the building. And then for the training ship Golden Bear, that is also a port. So we have what we call a watch box at the gate where students stand watch, and they monitor the people coming in and out. And then at the quarter deck, there is a security officer that stands up there during business hours, and each student will have to show their port pass and check in and out every time they enter and depart the TSGB. So that's how the security works on the training ship Golden Bear.
So a follow-up question from Jay McCover is, does the ship have locked doors, 24-hour access, and will there be an RA on the ship?
Yes, so we do have RAs in our res hall communities. We call them resident hall officers, but they're very similar to RAs. For the room doors on the TSGB, it's via PIN code. So when the students move in, they'll get a specific code for their room, and they'll have to enter that in every time they want to go in and out of their space. And then each semester we regenerate the door code. So the students will get another door code for spring semester, just for security reasons.
Thank you. Next question is from Logan. He wants to know, do the rooms on the ship have windows? Connor? You're muted, Connor.
Sorry, I missed the unmute button. But the question was, do the rooms on the ship have windows?
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So We do have windows, or as we call them, portholes, on the ship. But typically year round, or once we start going into the winter months and cold weather starts to be more common and rainy, we secure them all on the outside. Just because of the way the windowsills were created when the ship was originally built, a common problem is that some of the water will, when it rains, it'll come in through the windowsill and start seeping down throughout the rest of the ship. So we have to secure all of the portholes come winter season to make sure that we don't rust out our metal ship. But otherwise, during like the summer months, early fall and late spring, the student can open and close the window at their will.
Thank you. Next question is from Meg. Why is dishware, cup, bowl, plate, flatware needed for student to bring if staying on TSGB?
That's more of personal comfort. So like, you know, if the student wants to eat a bowl of cereal or, you know, want to cook something or have food at the dining center, and maybe they don't want to eat it in the to-go box and they want to eat it on a plate and use some regular silverware instead of plasticware to eat their food. That's your cadet's personal choice if they want to bring that stuff or not. Generally for upper residence hall, if you have a microwave or a fridge, you may want to cook something in the microwave or whatnot, but that's just your own personal comfort if you want to bring those items.
Next question. Thank you, Melinda. Next question is from Sonia. She says she wants to know, how are ships' restrooms getting cleaned? How is the circulation on the ship filtered? And are there any windows? So ship window question got answered already. So the other two, filtration and cleaning.
Yeah, so the cleaning for each of the restrooms is in the student's hands. So they're responsible for keeping it clean. However, we provide all of the cleaning supplies in what we call cleaning gear lockers throughout the ship. So the students can go in there, grab disinfecting sprays, rags, wipes, so on and so forth, so that they can keep the restrooms clean. And the circulation of the ship is provided from our housing fans, our HVAC fans that we have on board, and they go through some very complex filtration methods, so it's very clean air that's going to be pumped in and out of the rooms.
I have a follow-up question that would clarify cleaning, Connor. Can you tell us why we supply the cleaning supplies for on the ship?
Yeah, so the reason why we supply them is because it's still technically an operating vessel, and we keep that mindset going throughout the entire year, because when we're out at sea, we're our own target. For example, when it comes to getting cleaning supplies. So those cleaning gear lockers are stocked year round, and it's just for the exact reason because we're a ship and we need to be able to provide our own supplies, especially when it comes time for actually going out to sea.
All right, thank you, Connor. Everyone, please notice that Connor put the WEBA website on in chat in case you want to copy that. Next question is from B. Lou, who wants to know, beds on the ship are regular twin size?
They are extra long twin.
Like all other res halls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question is from Nancy. Sorry to clarify again, is there some kind of overnight security on the ship?
Yes, so with all of our res halls, we have resident hall officers who are part of the security plan for campus. They'll do programming and be there to check in on your cadet and be that friendly face during your home away from home. But they also do building rounds as well during the evening hours and anytime over the weekend as well, but specifically for the TSGB, just because it is an official port, we have port security, the officer that's there during the day, and then we also have a team of watchstanders that stand at the quarterdeck and check people in and out and check their port passes.
Thank you. Next question is from Anne. No apologies needed, Anne. Not sure if it was already asked. Will the important dates for housing on the website be updated to reflect new fall 2020 plan? Change in move-in date and move-out date. Will the cadets in Upper Res Hall move to the ship and vice versa or is the plan for cadets to stay in their room assignments all year? Sonia's Anne's son is an MET cadet. So lots of questions in there. Housing dates on the website, and then move in, move out from ship to Upper Res Hall.
So unfortunately this summer our campus went with a new web provider, and so the campus website was undergoing maintenance, and so at that time we couldn't make any changes while that was undergoing, and so that just was recently completed about a week or two ago, and so we have to go through and update all of the information. So sorry if the information hasn't been updated throughout the summer, but we'll definitely make sure that it's all updated. In terms of the flip, so traditionally under usual circumstances for anyone that's engineering or marine transportation major, we do a mid-semester flip just because students in those two majors are required to spend a semester on the ship. So generally we'll do a flip-flop. For this upcoming year, it just depends on what the circumstance is. If we're able to complete that flip, we will. If we're not, then they may need to stay in their room assignment. Right now it's hard to tell, but when we get closer to the end of the semester, hopefully we'll know what we're going to be doing for spring semester.
Thank you. Marianne wants to know, what about laundry supplies on the ship and on Upper Res Hall or in Upper Res Hall?
Yeah, I can take this one, Melinda. So for the ship, because of our complicated water treatment system, we provide the laundry detergent for the washers on board the ship. If the student wants to have dryer sheets, then they have to bring those. While in Upper Residence Hall, the student is responsible for bringing their own laundry detergent, fabric softener maybe, as well as the dryer sheets for the dryers.
Thank you, Connor. Next question is from Meg. What is the bed mattress material? Is it plastic or fabric cover?
On the TSGB and in Upper Res as well, it's not plastic, but it's not necessarily cloth. It's more of like, it's hard to describe. It's definitely not fabric, but it's definitely not plastic. It's
Is it like nylon?
Yeah, I want to say more like a nylon material. Yeah, I think it's more of a nylon material.
So is it moisture repellent, kind of nylon, so things won't seep through into the mattress?
Yes.
All right, next question is from Jay McGover. Do the students in residence halls clean their own bathrooms as well? Connor?
Yeah, so the TSGB is the only place where they are required to clean their own restrooms, at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, Melinda, but the rest of them, since they're community spaces, they get cleaned by enterprise services. So for example, in Upper Residence Hall, where quite a few of your students will be residing, all of them are kind of common restrooms. They're not kind of, they are common restrooms for the whole section of the floor to use. And they get cleaned daily. And actually, I think probably a little bit more since we have the COVID stuff going on right now.
Melinda, do you have anything to add to that, or can we go to the next question?
Yeah, and that for the THGB, the reason why the students are responsible for cleaning their own bathrooms, just because the bathrooms, to access them, you have to be in the room. So for security purposes, we want students to be in control of their own space and not have custodial staff or other staff members go in and out of personal rooms. So that's why we inform the cadets that they need to take care of their personal space.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you, Melinda and Connor. Next question is from Sonia. What details do the room checks on the ship? Oh, it moved. I lost the question. What details do the room checks on the ship look like or entail?
So from doing quite a few of them, overall cleanliness is what we're looking for. Made beds, no loose items on the floor or desktops, nothing hanging up anywhere on the ship, nothing hanging from the air vents in the room, no inappropriate images, at least when you look at our housing and license agreement. It's not trying to say like, oh, somebody can't display something that they're proud of, like politically or anything like that. But what we're looking for is just really that general cleanliness. If there's shoes on the floor, they're up against the bulkhead. Like I already mentioned, their beds are made, and we can notice when you just shove every single item underneath the bed covers, because a lot of it is for fire safety on board the ship. We don't want any of those items accidentally mixing in with any of the electrical systems on board the ship and then causing a fire, because that would be disastrous.
So Connor, follow-up question. What is a bulkhead? You can't, not all parents know that.
And that is totally on me. I apologize. I'm a senior. I'm almost graduating. So I'm just, the terminology is like
part of you.
Exactly. But yeah, so bulkhead is how our frames are numbered on the ship. The forwardmost bulkhead would be number 1, and then at least on the training ship Golden Bear, the aftmost bulkhead would be, I believe it's 180, and those are just the structural segments of the ship. And a lot of it is used for positioning of different tanks, rooms, so on and so forth, and it really helps all of us determine where things are located, because you can just say, oh, go to the fuel oil tank, but we have like 18 or 20 of them. But if you say, oh, the fuel oil tank on bulkhead 50, then we'll know exactly which one you're talking about on either the port or starboard side.
Thank you very much. The next question or clarification needed is for Jennifer. The website indicates regular twin sheets for TSGB. Is it twin XLT, Melinda?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Jay McCover wants to know if the kitchen on the ship is available 24 hours a day for microwave, water, ice, and access to fridge.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Next question is from Sonia. While the cadets are waiting for their test results, where are they staying? If the test results come back positive, do the cadets get sent home?
So once your cadet arrives on the 13th and take their COVID test, they will spend their self-quarantining in their room that they move into. So if they're in upper res hall, they'll be in upper res hall. If they're on the TSGB, they will be there. If your cadets results come back positive, there is a campus protocol for any tests that do come back positive and what to do. It just depends on the situation and the circumstance of your student, how they're feeling, the symptoms they have, and how severe they are. So it just depends. They may remain on campus and be moved into an isolation wing, or they may be sent to the hospital or potentially back home. It just depends on what the situation is.
Thank you, Melinda, for that clarification. Jennifer also wants to know, special laundry soap is provided for TSGB? Does he need special dish soap? And can the student bring a mattress topper for TSGB?
Yeah, so the difference between the dish soap and laundry soap is the systems that they go through. So your students is okay to bring any sort of dish soap to use to clean their dishes in the sink. And with the mattress topper, I believe our one stipulation with those is that they have to be fireproof. So if you're going to bring one, it has to be fireproof. And I don't think there's many that are out there. At least when I went shopping about 3 years ago, we couldn't find any, so I just didn't bring one.
Thank you. And the mattress topper? Can they bring their mattress topper?
Yeah, that was what I was talking about with the kind of fire
XLT.
addition that needs to be with them. I guess I didn't find any, and most of us didn't really need them on there. So.
Thank you, Connor. And next question is from Anne. Follow up on move out at the end of the semester with face-to-face ending on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then a conversion to online for all classes. Will cadets in res halls have to pack up and move out on Thanksgiving Day? If they have a late night class on Wednesday before, if not, can they come back to the campus after Thanksgiving break to finish out the semester?
Yeah.
Hello, Julia. This is Vanita. How are you? Would you kindly put your device on mute? So Melinda, this is the question we've discussed about how the semester and the face-to-face component is going to work out. Do you want to respond?
Yeah, so even though the face-to-face classes end before Thanksgiving break, the semester doesn't end until December 11th. So we won't officially close our halls until after that. So the students do have the option to stay on campus if they want to, or leave for the break and then come back for their finals, but our semester does not end until December 11th.
Thank you very much. Next question is from Jay McGovern. Does the person in the other room on the ship have access to the other person's room via the shared bathroom? Is there a lock mechanism? Can someone take some photos of the setup and share? Question mark. Connor?
Yes, so there is a locking mechanism on both sides of each door for the restrooms on the ship. So you don't have to worry about random late night visitors. We want to make sure that your students are secure and safe in their rooms.
Thank you very much. And the second question was, can someone take pictures? I actually made a notation earlier on saying photos of ship rooms. So I'll see if we can get some taken and posted on the Keylauer family page for parents to kind of get an idea, especially since you will not be on campus and in a position to see your student's room during orientation. So we'll try and get that done for you. Jennifer also is appreciating anything we can do about photos. And the next question is from Marianne. She's asking, when you say Wednesday before Thanksgiving, is that the day before or the Wednesday of the week before? Melinda?
I'm not familiar with the course schedule. So whenever the last day of the face-to-face classes are, I just know they're before Thanksgiving break. I don't have the dates off the top of my head right now, but our semester ends on December 11th.
So if I may, thank you, Melinda. If I may, Marianne, there are classes that are going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just before Thanksgiving. So your students are going to be in class until Wednesday. I can't tell you when each of the students' last class is going to be, but there will be classes through the end of Wednesday, and the following day will be Thanksgiving. We're not talking about the week before. Next question is from B. Lou. Can we get Melinda's email address in case we have other questions? So we have an email address where you can reach Melinda, and if she's not available, someone will take care of your query. And that email address is housing@csum.edu. Melinda, if you wish to add anything to that, please.
Yeah, no, if you have any questions regarding housing, room assignments, if you have any type of issues once you get to campus, the best way to contact us is at housing@csum.edu.
Thank you. Anne says there was conflicting info on TV size. What is the max? Is it different on the ship?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? I got distracted with the phone call.
Sure. It says there was some conflicting information on the size of the TV you can bring. What is the maximum, and is it different for ship rooms versus other res halls?
Melinda, maybe you can help me out with this. I don't remember there being a real size limitation on TVs, but I do know that we don't recommend bringing some like ginormous TV. And especially since the rooms on the ship are much smaller than those in upper. I think the size that I've seen in an upper residence hall room has been a 50-inch TV. Melinda, would you like to add on?
Yeah, no, that's generally it. I mean, we don't have a specific size limit. We just say, please bring a reasonable size TV. So nothing too large. We don't want a 75-inch or larger TV in our halls, just for safety. If we had an earthquake or any other type of emergency, we just don't want those things to fall down, topple on somebody. So just be wary of the size that you do bring. Something that's, you know, reasonable for viewing, but not something that is huge.
Question from Jennifer. Will there be any common areas to socially distance and yet meet and study with classmates? And this question, she wants to know about the ship.
So as of right now, in all of our halls, the common spaces will be closed just because they're not large enough for groups to gather and be socially distant. There are other spaces though on campus that are larger that we're looking to open and hopefully utilize more. Luckily with us living in California, the weather is pretty nice. And so there are a lot of outdoor spaces where students can gather and study. We do have some picnic tables outdoors around on campus, down on the waterfront that students can utilize as well.
I was on campus today for a little bit, and it was so refreshing to see students out eating their meals on the waterfront and actually talking to each other via masks, and they were sitting far enough apart, but it was really refreshing to see that. So those are all possibilities. And if I'm not mistaken, the incoming cadets will have access to some portable chairs that they can kind of place on the waterfront or up on the hills by their res halls as well. Next question is from Jay McGovern, wanting to know, how is the Wi-Fi bandwidth on the ship with many kids using online streaming during the day?
Yeah, it's honestly very good. I mean, I would highly recommend, if you want extremely fast internet speeds, to bring an Ethernet cord, so that way you can have that hardwired connection towards whatever device you're planning on using, such as a laptop or a PlayStation or Xbox. But outside of that, it's very reliable. And if it goes down, there's generally an IT notification the day before, notifying everyone that they're going to be doing some maintenance or something of the sort.
Thank you, Connor. Next question is from Anne. Follow up on TV. MET states 24 inches, but the general says 32. Any comments on that, or parents stick with a reasonable size?
Stick with the reasonable size. 24 inches fine. A 32 is a nice size. I would say anything above 60, that's where it can be a hassle. It'll be a concern in terms of space and safety.
Thank you. The next question is from John. Is there Wi-Fi on the ship? If the ship Wi-Fi is poor, where can they work? So I think Connor just answered that the bandwidth is pretty decent on the ship, and if things go down, they get called out and repaired quickly. Nancy says, if my daughter has a night class or a lab, does school provide security escorts for safe return to res halls if needed?
Yes, our campus PD, they have a campus program where they do provide escorts. So if that's something that your cadet is looking for, you can contact PD and they can arrange that for you.
Thank you, Melinda. And just as a side, PD will typically needs a few minutes to arrange for a patrol officer to make it to your student. So if you're going to encourage your student to use an escort, please let them know that they have to be patient and wait for the officer to arrive to escort them. So plan your timing accordingly. Jay McGovern says, can students on the ship bring beach chairs to go outside and study and relax? Anyone?
Yeah. Melinda, do you want to go for it?
Sure, and then you can hop on if there's more information.
Right.
Yes, so I mean, students are welcome to bring the chairs. It's just the matter of storage, and Connor could talk about like storage space if that's available to do that. But by all means, you could bring your own chair and then take it outside. There shouldn't be any issues with that.
All right. Sonia says, can the cadets get by without a printer on the ship, especially if they can access printers on campus? How is internet access on the ship? Any specific recommendations for internet connections? So we've answered a couple of those questions already, but we'll respond to the printer question. Melinda or Connor?
Yeah, I was about to say that's entirely up to you and your student. If they want to have their own printer so they can print their own things, then go for it. But I don't think that's going to necessarily be used as often as we would think, just because of the online courses and how a lot of them, or how a lot of the courses have moved to a virtual format. But if there is something that they need to print, like I said previously, there's plenty of those Weapon Now printers located throughout campus. For example, near the library and some of the classroom buildings, as well as even in some of our residence halls as well.
Thank you. Next question is from Jennifer. She is wondering if laptop is best for TSGB, not a PC, correct?
Yeah, I would advise your student to get a laptop. I mean, I've seen kids come in with those massive desktop gaming PCs, and they already eliminate a bunch of their storage space with them. And it doesn't make for an easy transition into a summer training cruise either. So I would highly recommend getting the laptop, because when you do go out on that summer training cruise, you're not going to be allowed to really have that desktop PC. There's just no real space for it. So, and if your student's concerned about not having a computer available for that summer training cruise, there is a tech room that we have on board with public computers for them to use. But that's about a year down the line.
Okay, thank you, Connor. Next question is, Melinda, can cadets change their meal plan now? Lou wants to know.
Yes, you can. You have two options. You can send us an email at housing@csum.edu with the updated meal plan that you want, or you can contact student accounts and they can make the change for you.
All right, thank you very much. Jennifer is asking, why would they need printers with online courses? And she says, thank you for your previous answer.
I think that was probably more of a discussion item.
So Anne has a question for us that says, parent orientation website mentioned a 30-minute parent presentation possibly on the 13th. Has that been determined yet? Is there an estimate of how long will the check-in process be, from testing, bag drop, tour, photo op? Also, if something is forgotten and we live in SoCal and have already headed home, is there organized Target or other store run, or does everything have to be ordered and delivered? Wow. And yes, apologies for not taking down the 30-minute parent presentation comment from the web page sooner. It was our intent to do that, but things have been emergent, as you know. So there will be no welcome 30-minute presentation. It's all going to be in your car and virtual. I couldn't tell you exactly, we haven't timed it, so I couldn't tell you exactly how long it's going to take from the time you pull up and you are at lot E to take your last photo op and then drop off your student. But we are allowing for about an hour, hour and a half for this whole process. That's what we've used as a time frame to when we created the schedule. Melinda, does that sound right to you?
Yeah, that sounds about right. We're going to be doing check-ins for a very long time period. So depending on what time you move in and if it is noticed that you forgot something, you can always run to the store and then drop it back off to lot O, and then we'll make sure it gets up to the student. In terms of an organized trip, generally we do organize trips to Target for student groups in traditional pre-COVID sense. Don't know what the plans are now, but we could definitely bring that back to the orientation team and see if there's something we can do in the upcoming weeks, especially if your student does not have a car.
If I may, and we certainly, I know from speaking to a couple people that there will be some trips that will be made to Target or another store like that. So if there's something that your student needs, we will we'll do everything we can to accommodate that. There's also a bookstore on campus that carries certain sundries that may be helpful depending on what got forgotten. And when you arrive on the 13th, we'll give you a set of directions on what to do if you're bringing stuff back for your student that was forgotten or it was a last minute addition. We have heard that question from other parents as well. So look for those instructions or directions on the 13th. Next question from Jay McGovern is, does the ship tech room have printers or for the cadets to use?
Yeah, so that ship's tech room that I mentioned, I probably should have noted that is only open over cruise. So unfortunately, it's not open during the school year. But there are no, at least to my knowledge, no printers on the ship for the students to use. However, like I said previously, there's plenty around campus.
Next question is from Jennifer. Our drop-off is early. What is planned for the cadets once they arrive?
So you'll have to definitely check the orientation schedule for your cadet when they arrive. The most important piece, though, is that they will have to self-quarantine in their rooms until they get their results back. In terms of residence life, we do host a meeting that we'll have on the first night and some icebreakers, and they get to know our department and the RHO staff and Connor. So we will have some light programming for them to do with our office. And then there are some other activities that may take place, but you'll have to view the orientation schedule for that.
From the orientation schedule I last saw, on the 13th, there isn't much for students to do, but there's a full day of programming the next day while we're still waiting for COVID results to come back. But when you're there on the 13th, you'll be handed the program that'll have all the details, so your student will know what to expect after the driving tour, and after you leave your student, they'll have an idea of what is going on next. Next question is, okay, I do not have any other questions that have popped up after Jennifer's last questions. And I typically in the last few days have opened up the last few minutes of our call to parents who were unable to or couldn't type their questions in for any reason, but would like to unmute now and ask their questions verbally. This is an opportunity to do that. Anyone? Okay. There were a couple of questions that were asked over the course of the last few days, and I've covered some of them. But I don't know if parents have heard, but one of the questions was about sports physicals, whether the health center was doing them or not. They are. Fridays are good days to schedule those, but they're open, and if your cadet reaches out to them, they can get that done. The athletics, recreational intramurals and all of that, the plan is still under review, and when we know more, we will share immediately with the parents what is happening in that arena. I think that's all I had that was overdue from previous calls. So Sonia says, thank you. You are very welcome, all the parents. We have just a few minutes left. If there is nothing else, I'd like to thank Connor and Melinda. Give them a round of applause for being with us. Thank you, both of you. And there's one more comment. The exception is that the kids flip in the spring. When will we know this information? Melinda, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, so right now we don't have an answer for you just because of what's happening with COVID-19. Traditionally, we do a mid-semester flip, so it just depends on the circumstance for spring semester. So hopefully in another month or so, we'll have a better idea if we're going to do that or not, but it's hard to tell you at this point.
Sonia wants to know if the swim assessment is on Saturday, the 15th. That is correct. All right. Melinda and Connor, you're welcome to say goodbye. And I once again, thank you for joining us today. Parents, I'll stay on for a few more minutes if you have any other unrelated to Melinda and Connor questions. Otherwise, thank you all for joining us today. And this will conclude our parent orientation Zoom calls. If you need anything, as always, you are welcome to reach out to me. My email address is in chat again now. I am always happy to hear from you and respond back to you as efficiently as possible. So bye, Melinda, bye, Connor, and I'll stay on for a couple of minutes.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
I had a question.
Yes.
You know, I tried to get on and type my question. I came a little late, so maybe this was already addressed or can't be addressed at this point. But with half occupancy, with one student to a room, is it pretty, can students pretty much rely, being a freshman or a sophomore, that they're going to get a dorm room? my daughter is on campus right now.
Mhm.
She's come back to finish up her spring semester. And she's in a dorm room, and she's just concerned that in 2 weeks when school starts, she doesn't know if she'll get to stay there. She's a sophomore, starting the beginning.
Oh, you're a returning parent. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's her major?
She's marine engineering.
So all of those students in engineering and transportation majors will be okay staying on campus, especially if she has a room now. There should be no reason to have concern. If you can give me your student's name privately or over the call, I'd be happy to check in with Melinda and reach out to your student to make sure she's not worried anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get this in while Melinda was listening. Her name's Sarah LaRussa, and she was just concerned. She was just concerned because she got an application basically asking, having to apply to get to stay in that room, and got her a little worried.
Okay, no reason to worry at all. I will check in with Melinda and then make sure that one of us reaches out to Sarah to make sure she's not concerned anymore. Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank
absolutely,
you.
Absolutely, not a problem. Jay McCover, you said 1 second. I'll be here until the very last of you have logged out. So I'm here if you have a question. Thank you. So can we call you at the number you provided if we have more questions? Absolutely, you have my number. Please do contact me. Please join Facebook, the Facebook page, Keel Holler Family Group. You can send me your questions through Messenger as well. Nancy wants to know, when will students receive uniforms? So Nancy, when they get to their room after orientation on the 13th, their uniform sea bag will be waiting for them in their room. Any other questions? All right. Again, you have my email address, and you can reach me via Facebook Messenger. If you have any questions, happy to take care of them. Have a great evening and a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to catching a glimpse of you on the 13th. Bye-bye.